Go to chapter 20, training. So when we talk about training, what does training do? Training improves the skills, the knowledge of individuals. So training will reduce the gap between what you know and what you don't know. So let's start. So the importance of training. It is unlikely that an employee would go through their working life without some form of training. Training is important and involves increasing the knowledge and skills of workers so they can do their jobs more effectively. With training, workers become more effective because they would have understand what they never understood. So it increases their knowledge, it increases their skills. So training is important because it allows employees to acquire new skills, improve existing ones, and make them perform better. Okay. So perform better, increase productivity, and be better leaders. So with training, everything about you becomes better. That is the point. With training, everything about you becomes better as an employee. So this also helps improve employees' motivation, so productivity will be higher. Workers become motivated because they feel valued within the organization. They believe the organization they have a future in the organization. I won't be trained if the company doesn't believe in me going forward. If they know they're going to kick me out very soon, they wouldn't train me.
Yeah.
So that means I feel valued. That means I feel important within the organization. And this is one important thing about training. So when people start a new job, they are likely to receive some induction training. So induction trainings are training that you are given because you are just starting a new job. They use it to introduce the job to you. They use it to introduce the methods to you. So here they said, this helps new recruits settle and become familiar with their new surroundings. If firms fail to provide adequate induction training, staff may feel anxious. This might lead to poor productivity. At worst, staff may leave because they have not settled. So the nature of induction training would vary between businesses. So induction is a training that you go through because you just started a new job. So you are a new recruit. So the kind of training they give to you is induction. That they use it in introducing the working environments to you, the operations of the business to you, and whatever is related to the business or in terms of what they do. That is what they use in. So that's what they use, putting you through it.
Yeah.
They introduce it to you. So, and then we have activity 1. So we just go down. Now, another type of training is on-the-job training. We have 3 types of training. We have induction, we have on-the-job, we have off-the-job. Induction is training that introduce the work ethics to you. Training that introduce the operations of the business to you. Training that puts you through what you have to go through.
Introduce you.
When you take the job. So then, on-the-job training. For on-the-job training, this means that workers are trained in the workplace while they are doing their job. That is on-the-job. That means you are being trained in the job, within the premises of the organization. You are within the premises of the organization. So how do they do on-the-job training? There are different methods of on-the-job training. 1, watching another worker. Here you'll be supervised. You'll be watching someone that is doing the job. You learn through that person. So that means you are learning through an existing employee. You are learning through an employee that is already in that organization. So you might sit beside him and see how he does it. We use this in the banking system. While I was in the bank, when I started working in the bank, I was placed beside someone. So I watch what he does or she does. So not just only one individual. I watch this, I go to check the next one. So I see the ways they are doing things.
Yes.
Before I start doing my own. So watching another worker, that is what it means. Like you have to monitor, you have to learn through someone who is already in the job or in the system. So they said, involves a new recruit watching and copying the actions of an experienced and competent employee. That means you are shadowing, you see what he or she is doing. Mentoring. Here is where a trainee is paired with an experienced member of staff for a given period. Here is mentoring. Mentoring is not the same as shadowing. For mentoring, I'll be putting you through. I'll be telling you what you have to do. I will be placed beside you for a long period of time. That is, I have to mentor you. I have to put you through it.
Like they teach.
Yeah, that is mentoring. Then we have job rotation. For job rotation, it means you can move from one department to another department, from one department to another department, until you are able to pick up the department that would suit you. You know, in the course of going through these departments, your supervisors will make reports about what you do. Then they can use that to decide where you fit in. It is on the job training. Is it clear?
Yes.
Then what are the advantages of on the job training? Number one, output is being produced. With on the job training, it means nothing is lost. You'll be at workplace and you'll be working at the same time being trained. So nothing is lost. Two, relevant because trainers learn by actually doing the job. It is relevant. You are there, you are learning what you will do. So whatever you've been trained for, whatever you learn, either through shadowing, through mentoring, they will be relevant to what you have to do going forward. Three, cheaper than other forms of training. It is cheap because it's from within the company, unlike off-the-job training that you have to go through different businesses, different specialist firms to train your workers. Can it be easy to organize? It is easy to arrange. Just get a new person working, then, oh, Miss A, mentor him. Oh, Miss A, put him through or put her through. So it doesn't need a long official arrangement before it is done.
Yeah.
What are the problems? One, output may be lost. In the course of me training you, I might not be able to do the job the way I'm supposed to do it because I will take time. You ask me a question, I leave my job to answer you. You ask me, I leave my job to answer you. So I might not be able to produce the way I used to produce. Output will be lost. I think it's clear. Two, maybe stressful for the worker. It might not be easy for me because maybe I don't like training people.
Yeah.
So it might be stressful for me. That's the problem. The third one, staff may get frustrated if they are unpaid trainers. So if the company is not going to pay me for training you, I might not be happy doing it.
Yeah.
Could be a danger to others. For example, surgeon or trained drivers. It could be a problem when you are given when you are letting someone to get trained on the job, or you are performing a surgery on someone, and you want the trainee to do it. Dangerous.
Yeah. Because
he might or she might not understand the job very well. She might make mistake or you might make mistake. And one disadvantage they didn't put here is that workers might pass the trainer might pass bad habits to the trainee.
Oh yeah.
It's a problem. So they didn't say it here, but it's a problem. So in the course of me training you, I might give you some shortcuts to do the job, which might not be good for the company. So I might learn bad habits from you. Is it clear?
Yes.
Then go to off-the-job training. For off-the-job training, it means you are being trained outside of the organization.
Yeah.
So here, that means you are being trained by maybe companies that are specialized in training employees. So what are the advantages? Number one, output is not affected if mistakes are made. So here, output is not affected because when you make mistakes during off-the-job training, it does not affect anything. You are being trained. Whatever you are being trained is just, it's not going to reflect in the output of the company. So you could make mistake outside. It's not going to affect the business itself. Two, learning cannot be distracted by work. So here, you're going to focus on what you are being trained for. You focus on your facilitators. So you're not going to be distracted by, oh, go and do this. Oh, your supervisor is calling you. Oh, the manager is calling you. No, strictly the training. So you're not going to be distracted. Three, training could take place outside work hours if necessary. So you might even go for this training on weekends, like Saturdays or after your work. So it doesn't affect output. And lastly, customers and others are not put at risk. Nothing is risk. You're not going to meet the customers. You're not going to meet nobody. Nobody is at risk. It's only, you could make mistake because you are learning. It's a training you could learn, but it's not going to affect your customers. They are not put at risk. They are not in any danger because you are not going to work until you understand what you have to do. So what are the problems about off-the-job training? One, it is expensive. But let's see what the first thing. He said, no output because employees do not contribute to work. The employees might be paid because they are already employed, but they are not working. They are on training. So you are paying for not doing anything. It's a problem. 2, some of all the job training is expensive, provided by specialists. Yeah, it's expensive. I said that earlier. 3, some aspect of work cannot be taught off the job. Some work, you need to do it on the job.
Yeah.
So, and the last one, it may take time to organize. Maybe the specialist company you want to use have different schedule that doesn't fit in for you. They have a lot of clients to attend to. So they will give you the date that you can come. And those dates might not be suitable for your employees because you want them to start working as soon as possible. Is it clear? Activity 2 is done. Then we go into training in health and safety. So in many occupations, the workplace can be a dangerous environment. Because of this potential danger, government aims to protect workers with legislation that forces businesses to provide a safe and healthy workplace. Some of these legislation addresses training in health and safety. For example, employees will need to learn about using and maintaining safety equipment and protective clothing, such as fire extinguishers, protective overalls, hard hats, hair plug, safety goggles. The importance of hygienic environment, the dangers from hazardous substances, the protection needed from violence, bullying, threats, and stress in the workplace. When we talk about health and safety, it's simply talking about not putting the workers into danger in terms of operations. Don't risk their lives. That is what it's saying. Give them a very conducive environment. Protect them as much as you can, so they don't die during work. That is about health and safety. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So, what are the benefits of training? They said the main reason for training is to provide workers with the skills and knowledge needed to do their jobs effectively. I have my knowledge. I have the skills I have, but for me to be able to do the job well, I might need to go for training. So that means to be effective, you might need to train your workers. So what are the benefits of training workers? Number 1, keeping workers up to date. It means that workers will be aligned with what is really happening in these days. So that means they are conversant with changes in the environment. They are conversant with the system because they are being trained. So they are updated. So every information they get is an updated information. So your workers are informed. Do you understand what being informed means?
Yeah.
Like they know it all. They know most of the things that are happening. So here, new health and safety procedures, new technology, after a takeover, new working practices, new legislation. So because they are informed, they know mostly about what is happening within the working environment. 2, improving labor flexibility. With training, they will become flexible. They will be able to do different things. So they will be able to adapt to different changes in the organization because training would have allowed them to have more skills and more knowledge. It improves their flexibility. Improving job satisfaction and motivation. They will be happy and they will be willing to increase their productivity. They will be happy working with you. New jobs in the business. Sometimes owing to expansion, new products or new technology, new jobs are created. This often means that some staff will need to be trained. If you are expanding your business, maybe in the course of expanding your business, you might need new equipment or new technology. So because of the introduction of new technology, you might need to induct the workers. They might need to go for new induction training.
Yeah.
Do you understand that? So what are the problems about training? High cost of training courses and other resources. The first problem about training is that it is expensive. And even the materials you would need for training might also be expensive. So that means the business might be incurring more cost. 2, loss of output. Yeah, because like off-the-job training. If off-the-job training, that means workers will be out of the organization for training. That means they will not be doing anything. They will not be producing nothing, and they are being paid. So you are losing output. Employees leaving. As soon as they are being trained, they become attractive to your competitors. And even them, they will feel like they are getting less now. They have more knowledge. They want to take more. They want to get more. They request for more from you. If you are not willing to pay them, they would leave. And if they are leaving, there's nothing you could do. You cannot cut off their head. It sticks there. So they have the knowledge, they have the skills now. They become more attractive to your competitors. And your competitors will be willing to pay them more because they are not the one that trained them. So you lose out because you've trained them and they are off, even going to your competitors. Do you have any question about that? So that's all about training. So let's look at the questions here. Which of the following is a benefit of on-the-job training? Training can take place outside of work hours. Simulations can be used. It is cheaper than most of other types of training. Trainees will not be distracted by the work itself.
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper. See, good. Question 2. Which of the following is an example of on-the-job training? Mentoring, simulation, correspondent course, job analysis.
Mentoring.
Mentoring, great. Which of the following is a benefit of training? Workers always enjoy training. Worker skills can be updated. Business can flow. Cash flow improves.
See.
Worker skills can be updated. See. An induction course may be used in which situation? Train workers in new skills, provide workers with a new qualification, deal with an employee grievance, introduce works to company policies and regulations.
The D.
Introduce works to company policies and regulations.
Wait. Train works, provide work with a new
Induction.
So induction is introducing like the employee to everything about the company.
That is
They introducing them
to policies and regulations. That's not induction. It's not really induction.
Okay, then it's
Induction course. Induction course.
induction course.
Yeah, new skills.
Oh.
New technology. There's new technology. That means you need to teach them how to use it.
So
It's A.
A.
Yeah, is it clear?
Yes.
So that's all about chapter 20.